Have you ever been to a neighborhood where it looks so picture perfect, the well-maintained lawn, the white picket fence, and just the beautiful homes?
Hey, Alan, what about those neighborhoods that you're driving in and you see the grass and it's almost 3 feet tall? You can't even see the home. And what about those driveways that they're full of oil stain and some of these neighborhoods are out of control?
Well, in today's video, we're going to talk about what people love and what people hate about homeowners associations.
Stay tuned. Hello everybody, this is Gamalier, broker realtor with Sturgis Realty Group.
And I'm Alan Rios. I'm the realtor with Sturgis Realty Group here in Metro Atlanta.
And today we have a great topic for you, and that is what people love and hate about HOA.
Yes, you probably heard of the word HOA, but what does HOA stand for, Gamalier?
Well, HOA stands for Homeowner Association. It's a self-governing organization that has a set of rules and bylaws that are enforced by the association itself.
Yeah, and in addition, each homeowner is required to pay a monthly fee or yearly fee. It all depends on the community, and that covers the maintenance of the common area.
Definitely. So today we're going to talk about pretty much about the pros and the cons when it comes to homeowner association. We're going to start with the pros to give them a little what's the great things about being in the homeowner association.
Yeah, and if you saw our intro, you know, when you walk or drive into a beautiful neighborhood, it's got that picture perfect look to it, well-maintained yard, street, and houses. Well, that is one of the major benefits, major pro of an HOA community, right?
Definitely.
It's neat and well maintained, and there's very little effort on your part.
Yes, definitely. And obviously, because they have to set of rules in place to make sure that everybody's following, then, you know, that's one of the biggest benefits, like you mentioned, where people, they keep the houses really nicely. And obviously, the big benefit of that is the second part we're going to talk about, the second pro, and that is pretty much values in the neighborhood go up and maintain great values because of home being maintained well.
Yeah, that is key. So one of the big benefits of moving into an HOA community is you don't want to lose your value of your home, right?
Definitely.
I mean, you want to hold on to your equity. You want to see your house value grow over time. And in an HOA where you have those bylaws and rules that are enforced by the homeowners association, they help maintain that neighborhood. You know, they'll make sure that the homeowners are aware of all the laws that are involved to keep the neighborhood up to par, right? Like maintaining your lawn, making sure that your garbage is put away, right? So there's a lot of different things here that play into that.
And then another part, which is the third that we have actually, is definitely one of the things that when you become part of a homeowner association, then you have amenities, you have excellent amenities. And here we see it through Atlanta that there's a lot of great subdivisions with great amenities, access to pool, clubhouse, you know, you even have tennis courts, security. Also, so there's a lot. Gym.
They do some bench pressing, you know,
definitely.
cardio.
So a lot to do. So even some of the places in downtown have also movie theaters and coffee shops inside though.
Just plenty of social activities and events. I mean, they can plan out your entire week, month, or year. I mean, they just have abundant of activities, things to do for you and your family to keep preoccupied, right?
So definitely. So that, you know, when it comes to obviously the benefit, there's a lot of amenities and a lot of things that happen that everybody comes in place and they could share the cost of all these type of amenities that the associations offer.
And another benefit or pro of being in an HOA, they also help disputes, right, between neighbors. You know,
before it gets crazy.
Yeah, right. Before they start yelling and fighting each other. You know, it may be because, hey, my neighbor's not keeping up with his lawn, or my neighbor has a loud barking dog in the middle of the night. It could be any of those things that could stir up your next door neighbors.
Yeah, so definitely it helps, you know, to make things easier and before everything could escalate and gets crazy.
Yeah, so you don't have to call the police. Usually the HOA can handle all that situation there for you. All right, so those are the pros. They all sound great. Where do I sign, right? Sounds like a perfect community. All right, there are some cons though when it comes to an HOA, and you know, as we mentioned in the beginning, some people love them, some people hate them. Let's talk about the cons now, Gamalier.
Well, let's talk about the cons. Obviously, one of the biggest cons that people complain about, obviously, and one of the things about homeowner association is that they have a lot of power when it comes about how you live and how you maintain the outside of your property.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk to people, a lot of people like the freedom of owning their own home and doing whatever they want to do, right?
And now they find out that they have a homeowner association. They have to tell them about everything.
Keep it indoors, not outside, right?
Yes.
So basically, that's what it comes down to. So if you're looking to, maybe change the color of your home, like this purple house behind us here, right? Maybe you love purple. Your HOA doesn't have that shade of color as far as being approved for the community. So, things like that, it makes it kind of tough to move into an HOA if you love the freedom of doing whatever you want for, in front of your house, back of the house, whatever.
Yeah, and obviously, like Alan mentioned, a lot of times they just have, restricted of choices of color, and you have to pick from there.
Yeah.
So you're restricted from their list of color, and that's about it. So obviously, there's a lot of flexibility on that. Another thing too, besides color, that they could also tell you is if you could put a fence or not in your own home. A lot of times, not only they could tell you if you could put it or not, but also the type of fence that you could put in your home.
It happened to me in my community as well. I had to get it approved by the HOA. Obviously, they wanted me to have a fence, but I had to go through the HOA first before I had work done on it. So that's something to consider as well. And what about the limit on the amount of cars that you can have? Like maybe parked in front of your house or even on a driveway? Or maybe you love RVing?
Forget about it. You got to get a place to put it on, because they will definitely not allow R&D in your home or commercial vehicles. If you have a vehicle that has a sticker, commercial, anything, they will definitely not allow you to keep that overnight in your home. A lot of associations are that way, so keep that in mind. But I have a story too about one of my clients that went ahead and decided to change the roof in his home, and he went and changed the roof and he didn't know he had to get that approval by the association. And right when he changed his roof, he came back and a year later was trying to sell the house. And guess what? Fortunately, the association didn't want to approve that roof color. So he had to rip apart the whole entire new roof and put a new roof and able to sell his house. So they definitely have a lot of restrictions and limit for what you could do in your home. And also, if you get, too many, when it comes to, if you're getting a lot of fees and citations and add up, they could also foreclose your property.
Yeah, they could put a lien on your property there. So, it's there's some cons to living in a HOA, but you definitely have to know what the rules and bylaws are before you move into the community. You definitely have to take a look at that. Make sure that you work with an agent that will go over that and explain it to you, so that you want to make sure that this neighborhood's a good fit for you. Maybe it is, maybe it's not, and then you can move on and look for another house.
And one thing is, what I want to say is that if you're coming from up north or other areas of the United States, homeowner associations are not as common. Here in Georgia are very common. We have a lot of associations for condos, for townhouses, and single home communities also. So be aware and unknown of what homeowner association and the rules and bylaws again.
Yeah, and we mentioned that paying the fees and fines if you're not maintaining your yard as being a con, and also the foreclosure part. Also, sometimes an HOA can stretch your budget, right?
Yes.
Especially if you're like in a condo where you may be paying several $100s a month.
Yes.
On top of your mortgage. If you don't budget that correctly, it can become a problem down the road for you.
And that's very important, like Alan mentioned, because when you're buying, the difference is a lot of times when you're buying a single home, most of the time they have an annual association you only pay one time. And normally ranges anywhere from it could be as low as $200 all the way to $4,000. The average is roughly around $1,200. For condos and townhouses, a lot of times are monthly. So you're paying that on a monthly basis, the association fee. And that's something that you also have to take in consideration. If you're in the borderline of how much you can buy already, and if you buy an association that has an association is too high, you may not qualify.
Yeah, exactly. So as we mentioned, make sure you go over the rules and bylaws of each community that you're looking at, especially the communities that you're interested in purchasing a home. And another key thing is rental restrictions, Gamalier.
That's a really big
I mean,
one.
that is a big
But
headache.
I'm not an investor, Ellen.
Well, I mean, you could be a homeowner and you may think about, hey, down the road, I may want to buy another house, but in the meantime, I want to rent out my home.
Yes, and that's exactly the case. Most people think, hey, I'm not an investor, it's not going to affect me. But not until you decide to buy that next home,
Yeah.
and now you want to keep this home because you want to create an investment vehicle and rent
Some
it.
cash flow. Yeah.
Or you may be going out of the country for a year to 2 years, and now you have a house that you need to rent because it's going to be empty for that long.
Exactly.
And you may not get that permission to rent it. So be aware of rental restrictions.
Exactly. So you want to make sure, as we mentioned, I'm probably reiterating it many times, make sure you go over the covenants and bylaws of each HOA community. As you know, you want to make sure that, hey, down the road, is this going to be a good fit for me living in this neighborhood? So you have choices out there, and you know, hopefully this video was very helpful in helping you decide if you want to move into an HOA community or non-HOA community.
Yeah, like Adam mentioned, there's some benefits and also some
Yeah.
pros and cons. So you know, based on your situation, we could help you to make sure you make the right decision. Here, we love helping buyers, sellers, and investors. If you have any questions, any comment, please put your comment below how you love or hate, or what you love or hate about homeowners association below, and share this information with your families and friends. And I hope again that this video has been helpful to you.
Yeah, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Click like and also click the notification bell so you're aware of each and every week when the videos do come out.
Thank you for watching the video. Have a great day.
Take care.